Good morning. So, I know exactly what I want to vlog about today, but I'm going to do it in a little different way. So, I just got on Wikipedia, actually on Google, which led me to Wikipedia, whatever, and I looked up the definition of, I just typed in the word toxic. That's it, toxic. And so, it actually brought me to a page that's toxicity? Like I don't know how to do it. So basically, I just started thinking, like, if I had a Wikipedia page, this is what I would put under the word toxic. We're going to talk about toxic relationships and friendships because I've dealt with a lot of shitty toxic relationships with people throughout my life, and it hit me yesterday how I was having a really shitty weekend, like extremely shitty. You can see it from my blog posts about it, how I was having just a terrible weekend. And one of the things I realized yesterday is that it has been 3 years since I finally realized I was in a toxic relationship with one of my best friends ever, and I got out of it. And I feel fantastic not being associated with that person anymore. It's great. I love it. No one asks me about that person anymore because they all know that person was a terrible person for me. So the different things I would put in my Wikipedia page on toxic relationships and friendships. So the definition, basically, a toxic friendship or relationship is being friends with someone or being a family member with someone, basically someone in your life who hurts you either physically or emotionally. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that the emotional part is very real. And sometimes you talk yourself out of thinking that that's toxic because you're like, oh, like, whatever, it's just being silly, we're just playing around. Like, I have friends, we joke around with each other all the time. Like, I don't know. I know my friends, and I know the things I can joke around with them about, and the things I can tease them about, and they know the things that they can tease me about. That's not toxic. But controlling someone's life and making them feel worthless and making them feel like they hate themselves or making them feel like they aren't being a good person by being your friend because they aren't meeting your standards, that's toxic. People who change who you are for the worse and not the better, that's toxic. So there's different types of toxic relationships and stuff. There's the friendships. Like everyone has that one friend that it's just like, oh, like if you have this one friend, that's terrible. Like no one should have this one friend, but a lot of people do have this one friend that it's like, man, if I just wasn't friends with so-and-so, I could do this and I wouldn't feel guilty about it. I could do this and I wouldn't feel guilty about it. I had 3 of these friends that were toxic friendships for me, and I guilt tripped myself into being their friend for a very long time. All 3 of them were in high school, especially my senior year. It was crazy because I was with all 3 of these girls and it ruined me. Like, that's one of the biggest causes of my depression is these toxic friendships that I couldn't get out of. So, and one of them tried adding me on Facebook again the other day, and I finally just blocked her because I can't let that into my life anymore. So these toxic friendships come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. One of them, the one who tried adding me, she got me into a lot of things I didn't want to be in. She introduced me to things on the internet that I went over to her house one day and she's like, we should watch porn, and I was just like, why? That's stupid. Why? Like, and I don't think porn is necessarily a bad thing. Like, it depends on what it's used for. Obviously, if you're addicted to it, that can be a problem. If you have to watch it every day, I have a very weird stance on porn. But she was like, oh yeah, let's watch porn. And at the time, I didn't realize that, like, wow, what kind of friend says that? That's stupid. That's like, friends don't do that. Friends are like, no, let's watch The Lion King instead. That's friendship. Like, I'm sorry, don't watch porn with your friends. That's stupid as hell. And it's just like, little things like that. And she would always come to school drunk or pretending to be drunk, and she wanted a lot of attention from a lot of people, and I'd watch her go from person to person to person and tell the same story in different variations to please that person. Like, she'd tell one person, like, yeah, I was at church the other day and I had such a spiritual moment, and the next person she'd tell, I went to church the other day and all I could think about was fucking my girlfriend. And then the next person, I went to church the other day and I just realized how wrong it is that I'm staying with this woman and I just need to get back on the path with this boy and stuff. And the next person, she would nothing about church or being attracted to boys or girls, but it all involved the same story, and that was manipulation. And I took that out of my life, and if I see her again, I'm not going to be friends with her. I can't be friends with someone like that, because that is not very cool of anybody to manipulate people like that. It's ridiculous. That's a toxic friendship. Cut that out. One person I was in a class that had a lot to, it was newspaper, and this person, like, she, wouldn't do anything for the class. I'd do everything. We had equal positions in the class. I would do everything, and then the night before the paper was due, she would go and change everything I had worked on. And then she would act like it was no big deal, and like, she really chewed me out for it one day, and I was just like, I'm done. This is stupid. You're mean. I'm done. But I still was friends with her after that, because I didn't realize that it was a toxic friendship and that she was bad for me. It took me a long time to get out of that toxic friendship, because she was very manipulative too. We tried to be friends again after high school, like last year or something, and she has 5 of my books that I lent her, 5 of my favorite books, and she won't talk to me anymore. So it's like, woo, good for you, toxic friendship. Thanks for being a bitch and stealing my books. Like, awesome, good for you. Hope you enjoy them. So the last kind of toxic friendship I had was my very best friend. I hung out with her all the time. I was always over at her house. Like, I knew her parents, I knew her grandparents. I was always with her, always hanging out. We ate lunch together every day, and she was very much not on Team Happy Jana. She was on her, if it wasn't her idea, it was terrible. She was all for, like, yeah, you need a boyfriend, so I finally get a boyfriend, and she won't talk to me because I'm not her girlfriend. And that really warped me, because this guy I was dating was really not good for me either, and I needed a friend, and I had no friends, because she was pretty much my only friend senior year, because I didn't want to talk to anybody, because I'd been in these toxic relationships and friendships that I couldn't get out of, and I didn't know who to turn to. So she turned out to be quite the bitch, and so we tried being friends and stuff. I forgave her a lot for a lot of things I shouldn't have. And then when my cousin died, I will remember this until the day I die. I went to school because I had a test the next day. I stayed up all night, went to school the next day anyways because I had a test, and I didn't even do any of the tests. I went to my professor afterwards and I was like, hey, by the way, this just happened last night. And he's like, oh my god, take your time, don't turn in your test right now, turn in 3 months from now, I don't care, just take your time, it's okay. Very, very kind about it and stuff. And so I texted her. I was on campus and I was like, where are you, because I need someone right now and you're not here and I can't find you, you're not where we normally meet. And she texts me, she's like, sorry, I stayed home today because my boyfriend broke up with me. And I kind of got pissed off, because it's like, I'm at school the day after someone very close to me passed away, and you're not at school because your boyfriend of 1 month broke up with you. I'm sorry. That really bothered me. So I kind of pointed out to her, I was like, okay, well, I'm here today and this is what I went through and I really need help. And she sent me this text, and it was like, she said, my boyfriend broke up with me. Your cousin died. I thought you'd have more sympathy for me. And it was just like, hold the fuck up. That is when I realized it was like a slap to the face. It was like 3 slaps to the face of, this is a toxic friendship. There's nothing good coming from this friendship. And everything is about her. And the time that I needed someone to care about me, she did not. And I finally took her out of my life. And it is the best thing ever. Being out of these 3 toxic friendships is amazing. There's some people that you're in a toxic relationship with. This would be another one of my Wikipedia things, like how to get rid of this toxic in your life, Cut them out. cut them out, ignore them, don't talk to them, unfriend them on Facebook, stop following their blog, don't follow their Twitter, don't associate with them. If you see them in public, don't feel obligated to smile and wave. Just don't. You're better than them. You are better. And never forget that. So another kind of toxic, 10 minutes, holy crap. Sorry, I talk a lot in these. So I've been thinking about this one a lot, obviously. So another toxic relationship can be your family. And one of the hard things about having a toxic relationship with someone in your family is that you're kind of like stuck with them. You can't just unfriend them on Facebook. You can't just cut them out of your life and not go to the same supermarket as them. The hard thing about most families, it's like you have to associate with me. You have to socialize with me. You have to be my brother. You have to be my cousin. You have to be my mom. So I have a really hard time, and I'm in kind of a toxic relationship with my dad. And it's a different kind of toxic relationship in that I know how he makes me feel, but he doesn't know how he makes me feel. But he's the kind of person who, actually his ringtone on my phone is King of Anything by Sarah Bareilles, because he's got the talking down but not the listening, and the whole song is just about him, I swear to God. So it's just one of those relationships that it's really hard. I can't connect with him. He gives me so much shit about being a vegetarian. He gives me so much shit about having tattoos and about not going to church, and about he doesn't ask me, what's your book about? He asks me, is your book making any money yet? And it's like, that's not the goal of publishing for me. And I've tried telling him that. And it's just really hard. There's so many things. Like, I'll try talking to him about something that's bothering me, and all he does is yell at me and tell me I'm wrong, even though I'm telling him exactly why I'm right. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's things that he'll tell me to do something word for word, and I'll do it that way, and then he'll yell at me and tell me I did it wrong when I did it exactly how he wanted me to. So this past summer, I have not talked to my dad at all. He's been living up in Yellowstone, running a hotel that he bought from his parents, which is great, good for him, and I moved out. And I have not talked to him all summer, and it has been really good for me. I think he's finally noticed that, hey, my daughter's not talking to me. None of his kids are talking to him, really, except my sister and my brother both live in Yellowstone, too, so they kind of don't have the choice, like, they have to interact with him. But it's been really great for me to not talk to him. I've barely texted him, like, once or twice in response to something he sent me. He texted me, he said, hey, call your dad, and it's just like, why can't you call me? Like, I don't think he understands that I would love for him to call me and be like, hey, leave a voicemail for me that says, hey, I miss you, want to talk to you, instead of just saying, call your dad. Because that's the kind of thing that makes me want to not talk to him, because it's demanding from him. It's not, I love you no matter what you're doing. It's, I'm disappointed in your life choices. So one of the things with this toxic relationship with my dad is that I've had to not talk to him, because I'm hoping that's going to get the point across. And he's coming home in 2 weeks, and I'm going to have to talk to him and interact with him again. That's going to be interesting. I'm not really excited for it at all, so we'll see how it goes. But it's okay to take those kinds of people out of your life when you can. Obviously, if you're still living at home and you're interacting with this person every day, it's hard to cope with that. Like, my brother can't do that, can't take this toxic relationship out of his life for a while. But I can, and I have, and I'm ready to rekindle that toxic relationship into one that's not so toxic. So the thing with toxic relationships and friendships, I'm trying to cut this short because we're going on 15 minutes soon. I'm so sorry my vlogs are so long. I just like talking. Is the ones that are really, really terrible for your life, just take them out. You deserve better. Make better friends. Hang out with other people who don't make you feel like shit. Hang out with people that make you feel like you want to be a better person because they're a better person, and they want to be a better person because you're a better person. Find those people. Love those people. Get those people's names tattooed on your skin. I don't care. Just be with those people. In friends, in relationships, whatever. With relationships that are toxic that you can't get out of, like being in a relationship with a family member, just let them stand up for yourself. Let them know. Don't take any shit anymore. Be who you are, and if they have a problem with it, then it is their problem, not yours any longer. You're the better person. Don't be a toxic for anyone else either. If you're toxic for someone, that's just kind of fucked up. Don't be a toxic for someone. But get the toxic out of your life. Hopefully this vlog made sense. I don't know. It's almost 15 minutes, so I'm gonna go. Bye.